Why are you still alive? My father's voice cracked through the wedding reception like a gunshot, his champagne glass shattering on the marble floor as 300 guests turned to stare at me standing in the doorway. The man who collected my life insurance payout 18 months ago was looking at his supposedly dead daughter like she was a ghost, which, in a way, I was. But the real question wasn't why I was alive. It was why he told everyone I was dead in the first place. The string quartet screeched to a halt mid-waltz. My sister Elena, radiant in her $10,000 wedding dress, stood frozen at the head table, her bouquet slipping from her fingers. The groom's family exchanged bewildered glances while my stepmother Gloria clutched her pearls so hard I thought they might disintegrate. I stepped into the ballroom, my heels clicking against the floor with deliberate precision. "Hello, Dad. Beautiful wedding. Sorry I'm late. I had trouble getting an invitation since apparently I've been dead for over a year." The silence was absolute. You could have heard a pin drop in the Sultan's Palace ballroom of the Four Seasons, where my family was hosting what the society pages would later call the wedding scandal of the decade. "Security," Dad barked, his face cycling through colors like a broken traffic light. "Remove this imposter immediately." But I was already pulling documents from my purse. Imposter? Really, Dad? Should we discuss the death certificate you filed? The life insurance claim? Or maybe we should start with why you've been withdrawing $20,000 a month from the trust fund Grandma left me, the one that was supposed to be inaccessible until I turned 30. "I don't know who you are," he stammered, backing away. "But my daughter Sienna died in a car accident in Bangkok. We had a funeral. We warned." "Did you?" I interrupted, projecting my voice so everyone could hear. "Because the investigator you hired to fake my death told me you were quite specific about the instructions. Make it look real, but make sure there's no body to identify. Thai authorities are easier to bribe, you said." Elena finally found her voice. "Sienna? Is that really you?" I turned to my sister, softening slightly. "It's me, Elle. I'm sorry to do this at your wedding, but Dad made sure I couldn't contact you any other way. Changed your numbers, monitored your emails, told everyone I was dead." "This is insane," Gloria shrieked. "Richard, tell them this isn't true." But Dad was already backing toward the exit, pulling out his phone with shaking hands, probably calling his lawyer, or trying to figure out how to flee the country before the FBI caught up with him. "Sit down, Richard," a commanding voice called from the back of the room. Everyone turned to see my grandmother, his mother, walking in with her cane, flanked by 2 federal agents. "We have much to discuss." "Mother?" Dad's voice was barely a whisper. "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the memory care facility. The one you put me in against my will." Grandma's voice was sharp as ever. "The one where you told them I had dementia so you could control my estate." "Yes, Sienna found me there." Imagine my surprise when my supposedly dead granddaughter showed up to rescue me. I pulled out more papers. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the disruption, but you're about to witness something historic. Dad didn't just fake my death. He's been systematically stealing from the entire family for years." "Lies," Dad roared, but the federal agents were already moving toward him. "Really?" I held up a bank statement, then explained why Grandma's $50 million estate has been reduced to less than $2 million. Explain the forged signatures, the shell companies, the offshore accounts in the Caymans. One of the agents, a stern woman with steel gray hair, stepped forward. "Richard Hartwell, you're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, identity theft, and filing false death certificates. You have the right to remain silent." "Wait." Elena's new husband, James, stood up. "What the hell is happening? Richard, you told me Sienna died in an accident. We donated to charity in her name." He told everyone I died because I discovered what he was doing, I explained, addressing the room. 18 months ago, I was working at the family company when I stumbled onto discrepancies, millions missing. When I confronted him privately, hoping to handle it within the family, he tried to have me killed. Gasps echoed through the ballroom. Several guests were now recording on their phones, and I knew this would be viral within hours. "The car accident in Bangkok was staged," I continued. "But the men he hired warned me instead. Turns out Dad had stiffed them on previous jobs. They helped me disappear, create a new identity, gather evidence. I've spent the last year and a half working with the FBI to build a case." "FBI?" Gloria looked like she might faint. Richard, tell me this isn't true. Dad's response was to try to run, but the agents were faster. As they cuffed him, he turned to glare at me with pure hatred. You always were too smart for your own good. Smart enough to install keyloggers on your computers before I died. I said. Smart enough to document every transaction, every forged document, every bribe. Smart enough to know you'd eventually come after Elena's inheritance too. Elena sank into her chair. My inheritance? Why do you think he pushed so hard for you to marry James? I asked gently. James's family owns the largest shipping company on the East Coast. Dad's been laundering money through their containers for 2 years. That's a lie. James protested, but his father had gone pale. Container 4785B arrived at Port Newark 3 weeks ago, I recited from memory. Manifested as carrying electronics. Actually carrying $12 million in cash from Dad's Cayman accounts. Should I continue? James's father stood abruptly. We need to leave. Now. I wouldn't, Grandma said calmly. The FBI has agents at every exit. Turns out Richard involved quite a few of you in his schemes. The Hartwell family fortune built on fraud is crumbling today. The room erupted into chaos. Some guests tried to leave, only to be met by federal agents. Others sat in stunned silence. Elena was crying, her perfect makeup running in streams down her face. I walked over to her, kneeling beside her chair. Elle, I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you, but Dad had people watching you. Every call, every text, every email. It wasn't safe. You let me think you were dead, she whispered. Do you know what that did to me? I spoke at your funeral. I know, I said, my own eyes filling with tears. But he would have killed us both if I contacted you. The FBI said the only way to keep you safe was to maintain the illusion until we had enough evidence. The wedding, she said suddenly. Oh God, the wedding. It's all paid for with stolen money, isn't it? I nodded reluctantly. I'm afraid so. The FBI will probably freeze all the family accounts by tomorrow. She laughed bitterly. The society wedding of the year, and the father of the bride is being arrested for faking his daughter's death and stealing millions. Mom must be so proud. We both looked at Gloria, who was having what appeared to be a nervous breakdown at the head table, alternating between screaming at the agents and trying to call her lawyer. Did she know? Elena asked. Some of it, I admitted. She knew about the money laundering, helped spend the profits, but I don't think she knew about my death until after. Dad probably told her the same story about Bangkok. Agent Martinez, one of the FBI agents, called out, "We need to process the scene." I squeezed Elena's hand. There's a silver lining. Grandma's lawyers already filed to reverse all of Dad's transactions. Most of the stolen money has been recovered. You'll have your real inheritance, free and clear. But not my father, she said quietly. No, I agreed. Not the father we thought we had. But maybe that's for the best. The man who raised us, who we loved. I don't think he ever really existed. It was all an act, a performance to hide what he really was. As the agents led Dad away, he turned back one last time. Everything I did was for this family. No, I called back. Everything you did was for yourself. The family was just your cover story. Grandma approached us, looking frailer than I remembered, but with fire still in her eyes. Elena, dear, I'm sorry about your wedding. But Sienna's right. Once the assets are unfrozen, you'll have more than enough for a proper celebration. One not tainted by lies. Elena stood, wobbling slightly in her designer heels. I don't even know if I want to get married anymore. James's family is involved in this mess. How can I trust anything? Don't make any decisions tonight, I advised. Take time. The truth has a way of revealing who people really are. If James loves you, he'll understand. If not, better to know now. The wedding photographer, who'd been capturing everything with professional detachment, approached tentatively. Should I keep shooting? For evidence, or? Document everything, Grandma told him. This is history. The fall of the Hartwell Empire built on lies. As guests were interviewed by agents and the wedding dissolved into a crime scene, I found myself standing with Elena and Grandma in a quiet corner. My sister had stopped crying, her expression now one of exhausted acceptance. How did you do it? She asked. Live underground for 18 months, knowing everyone thought you were dead. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, I admitted. I worked as a waitress in Portland under a fake name. Lived in a studio apartment with bars on the windows. Every day I wanted to call you, to tell you I was okay. But every time I picked up the phone, I remembered Dad's threats. He said if I exposed him, he'd make sure you had an accident too. He threatened me. Elena's voice was small. Multiple times. Said the family had to present a united front and anyone who broke ranks would regret it. I couldn't risk it, Elle. I couldn't lose you too. But you didn't lose me, she said, pulling me into a fierce hug. I'm here. We're here, and he's going to prison where he belongs. Randall watched us with sad eyes. I should have seen it sooner. My own son, a monster. But he was always so charming, so convincing. Even when Sienna came to me with evidence, part of me didn't want to believe it. Believe it now, I said. The trial will be public. Everything will come out. The family name will be mud for years. Good, Alana said fiercely. Let it burn. We'll build something better. James appeared, his face grave. Elena, we need to talk. My father, there are things I didn't know. Things about the business, about our connections to your father. I swear I had no idea. She looked at him for a long moment. We'll talk. But not tonight. Tonight, I need to be with my sister, my living sister. He nodded, backing away. I understand. I'll be at the hotel if you need me. As the ballroom emptied and crime scene tape went up, the three of us, grandmother, sister, and the daughter who'd returned from the dead, stood together in the ruins of what should have been a celebration. What happens now? Elena asked. Now we rebuild, Grandma said firmly. The Hartwell name might be tainted, but our family, our real family, is stronger than one man's greed. We have each other, we have the truth, and we have a chance to start over. Together, I added, taking both their hands. No more secrets, no more lies. Just us. Elena managed a watery smile. You know what the funny thing is? I spent months planning this perfect wedding, the social event of the season. And instead, I got my sister back. Maybe that's a better gift than any party could be. As we left the Four Seasons, walking past police cars and news vans already gathering for the story, I thought about the last 18 months. The fear, the loneliness, the constant looking over my shoulder. But also the strength I'd found, the determination to bring justice not just for myself, but for everyone Dad had hurt. He'd asked why I was still alive. The answer was simple, because someone needed to stop him. Someone needed to protect the family from the very person who was supposed to protect us. And sometimes the best way to save your family is to let them think you're gone. Then come back when they need you most. Even if it means crashing a wedding to do it.